What's going on, YouTube? So I am I've been trying to get a video together for y'all, but the time, everything is just this is just how it is. It's like that. So I'm gonna try to make this video for you all today. So um this was this video is trying to do this segment that I had talked about 2 weeks ago or so. Yeah. So, yeah, this was that video that I was going to try to do and put out every Wednesday in between our so-called regular videos. And, yeah, just time went all over the place, and it just didn't happen. But anyway, so the first topic that I really wanted to discuss that I really haven't seen a lot of people talk about is when you decide you're going to buy an RV, and what should you do? And first of all, you want to decide what kind you want to get, what kind of RV you want to get, whether it be the Class A, which is the one that looks like the big bus, or you want to do a, and then along with that Class A, you got diesel and you have gas. What's going to be best suited for your method of travel, like how often you want to travel or you're going to be traveling. So gas and diesel. So you have to look at the pros and cons of both of those. And then so you have the Class A, gas and diesel. You have the Class C, which looks more like the truck, the U-Haul type, built like that. And you have, in addition to the Class C, you have the Super C, which is a lot more expensive, but are very nice. But that's also not an option. And then you have your fifth wheels. And then you have your towables or your bumper pools. You have pop-ups. So there's a lot of different types of RVs out there. And so you just have to make that decision first on what kind you're wanting to get. Then once you decide that, then you have to look at how much you're wanting to spend. So that would be my next step is, okay, how much are we wanting to spend? Or how much can we afford? And then from there, what I would suggest is, because if you go to any of these RV places or you go to a RV show, you're going to see this price, and then you're going to see this price per month as what this would cost you. But then you have to look down in the fine print below that to see with 20% down. So if you're looking at $100,000 RV, and it says, oh, your payments could be $600 a month with 20% down. So what is 20% of 100,000? Okay, so on $100,000 RV with 20% down, you're looking at $20,000. So then the question comes is, where are you going to get $20,000 from? Do you have $20,000 just laying around? I don't. But I know I can afford a $600 a month payment. So then with that, I would suggest to go on to, first know what your credit is. I mean, first and foremost. Know what your credit is. And then I would go on to RV calculator. Just Google RV calculator, and it should bring you up a calculator. That way you can put in the price of the RV, the amount, down payment amount, and then what your monthly cost would be. Now, 20% is not set in stone. At least not with us, it was not. I went in there and negotiated. I'm not putting 20% down on this RV. You can either take what I'm gonna give you, or we can walk. I mean, it really didn't matter to me. This is a luxury item, so it wasn't something that I had to have, like a car or a vehicle or something like that if I needed one. So, like I said, I was able to negotiate on my on how much we put down on it. So, you can kind of play around with the numbers and, see how much, if you put down a certain amount, what your payment would be per month and all of that. And I also took it a step further once we figured out, what we wanted, how much we wanted to spend, our budget. Then I took it a step further. I was calling my insurance company saying, hey, I'm looking at this RV, roughly how much insurance would be on it roughly. So not only did I figure out the RV monthly price, how much my insurance was going to be, my tag would be. So I kind of figured all of that out because, of course, your insurance and your tag, your insurance is going to come monthly or, year or every 6 months, depending on how you pay it. And your tag is going to come yearly. So those two things, are going to be reoccurring along with your payment. So I looked at all of that stuff when we were looking at buying the RV. Also was not aware, and you may be, but just in case somebody out there is not, that is looking to purchase, is not only do they look at debt to income ratio, but they also look at what they call back end ratio or debt to income ratio. And you can kind of Google back end ratio or back end calculator. And I think they want you to keep that around 30 to 32%, maybe, if I'm not mistaken. But that was something that I was unaware of. And so that's another thing to look at too, because this is not like a vehicle, like a car loan. It's a totally different loan. So they look at a lot more stuff because, again, it is considered a luxury item. So it's not as easy as, getting a car, or as simple, I should say. And it's not difficult, but it's just not, it's a lot more, it's a little bit, it's more steps to it than going to purchase a vehicle. So, you have to look at all of that stuff. So what type, how much monthly, how much you want to put down, or how much you can afford to put down, your back end ratio, your credit. That's going to be the biggest thing to determine a lot of stuff, a lot of factors in play. And I also spend a lot of time on the Good Sam APR, and an annual percentage rate, to see exactly where that APR sat. So when I went to go buy, because a lot of people don't think about that, they look at, oh, okay, I got my price where I want it to be monthly, I got my cost where I want it to be, but you also got to look at that APR, because that's going to determine how much you're overall going to be paying out for this thing. And you want it to be as low as possible, because that's going to be less money that you have to pay over the term of the loan, unless you pay it off early, which is possible as well if you play your cards right and figure all that out. But anyway, so you there's stuff you need to look into. Like I said, go to the RV calculator, pull up the back end ratio calculator, look at your credit, see what things you can go ahead and pay off, such as credit cards or small loans you got out or whatever, to just clear that stuff off of your credit to bring up your score as much as possible. And yeah, so once you have all of that on your radar, and you're going through looking at everything, you figured out what kind of RV you're wanting to get. Then I would just start going on RV Trader, and then start looking at different floor plans of that particular kind that you want to get. And I would just get me a notebook, and that's what I did. I grabbed me a notebook and I just started making notes of, the name, the make, the model, what things, and then we would actually go out and look at them. Now, with all of this that's going on, I don't know if that's possible now. I don't know. I've not looked into if you're able to go on a lot and actually physically look at an RV. But if you can, I would go lay my eyes on it, because what looks good online is not always good when you get there. Because there were several that we looked at that looked good online and got there and they were cheap. You could tell they were cheaply made. The walls were paper thin. The seats looked cheap. So yeah. And so we would just do that, and then we would cross them off what we liked. I mean, if we didn't like them, we would cross them off the list. If we did like them, then I would write down, where we saw it at, what the price was, and all of that kind of stuff. So I just kind of kept me a little running journal of, so, and then videotape. If you want to record, if you go to see it, you can record it. If that's your prerogative to do that, your preference, and makes it easier for you to go back and just look at it rather than write it down, or do both, then I would do that as well. And I would give yourself at least, I'm going to say a year, because right up to the day, around the time that we bought ours, I'm still online looking and still finding different floor plans that are popping up, different models that I did not know existed or was out there. So, yeah, just give yourself a year, give yourself time. Don't rush into it. Don't make a hasty decision, because we said that we're going to go look at this RV, and if everything looks good, we're not going to do that impulse buy and say, yeah, let's go ahead and get it. No, we're not doing that. We did it. We took a year. We actually took one whole year before we actually found the RV that we liked and we purchased, that we're very happy with. So, I just, if I could help one person out, that would be awesome, that did not know this stuff, and save you a little bit of headache and time and frustration. Then I'm happy with that. I'm happy that I could help one person. But like I said, we went in, and you can always negotiate. Now, I don't know about now how much, because a lot of people are buying RVs now, if it's what the negotiation is like. I don't know if they're doing a whole lot of negotiation right now. I don't know. It's just, you just have to go out there and see what happens, negotiation wise. I don't know. I can't speak on that now, but I can tell you back when we bought ours, you can negotiate the hell out of, out of a price and walk. I mean, you don't have to buy that. And, they needed to sell, so they would kind of work with you. And another suggestion that I would make is to buy the last year's model. Trust me, there's not a lot of difference between a 2017 and a 2018 versus a 2019. There's not a whole lot of difference. There's some little cosmetics here and there that they've changed, but for the most part, everything is going to be the same. That's my tips on buying. I'm doing this impromptu, so I hope that I covered everything that I wanted to cover, but that is really the basics on how to get started um on buying an RV. I mean, though, start there. Start there. And, you know, if you have any questions and comments, I welcome all of those, and I'll answer the best I can, as, you know, quickly as I can. Yeah. So like, share, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. And I hope I can come back next week with some more tips and tricks and things that I've learned along the way. So with that, I hope that light doesn't like drown me out. And yeah, I'm looking because my phone's propped up, so I'm just trying to do this impromptu. But yeah. All right. So I hope everybody has a good week, good weekend coming up, and we'll see you next week. Peace.